This week's podcast is sponsored by MPB, the simplest and safest way to sell photo and video kit. Free up funds from your kit bag and get paid fast. Find out how much MPB will pay you at mpb.com/sell.
Good evening and welcome to the AV Forums Movies Podcast. Today we're going to be going to Top Gun. With me for this ride of our lives, I have Mark Costello.
You can be my wingman.
And Simon Crust.
Thanks very much.
I didn't even do the line, Si. I mean,
no, I've only seen the film once and it was pants.
Only seen Top Gun. Anyway, we'll get into that.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
First, we'll talk current competitions, won't we, Mark? Before we get into the controversy of only seeing Top Gun.
I don't know if I can after that. I want to get... No, yes, you're right. So, yes, you can win Stephen King's Cat's Eye on 4K and a number of Blu-rays, including Around the World in 80 Days, The Terror: Infamy, Wormwood Apocalypse, which is all kinds of awesome. Uncharted and Criterion's May titles. So head over to avforums.com/competitions to enter. All competitions are open to eligible AV Forums members resident in the UK.
Awesome. Previous competition winners: Flip Fellow won the podcast exclusive Nicolas Cage's Pig on Blu-ray. Cara Wood won Rules of the Game on DVD. Over the Fence won Days of Bagnalled Summer on Blu-ray.
Awesome.
Yes, it had your top pick, didn't it, a while back?
Awesome film.
Los Salan won The New Scream on 4K. Bopper won a copy of Belfast on Blu-ray. Becky I won a copy of Dear Evan Hansen on Blu-ray.
Oh, dear.
And Crown won the podcast exclusive X-Men Cerebro collection on Blu-ray and 3D Blu-ray.
Well done, all.
So,
They still make 3D Blu-rays.
yeah, it's
Wow.
amazing. Yes, I know.
Is that why you're wearing those glasses?
it
Are
must
we in
be.
3D?
Yeah, no, it's because I haven't slept. We've also got a podcast exclusive to win a copy of Top Gun on 4K. So stay tuned to the end to get the question for that you need to answer the really easy answers on that. Top Gun Maverick. So I take it only 50% of us are actually excited about this.
I am, sir. I'm very excited.
I've got to somehow sell Simon on this.
Well, you did show me the trailer.
I did, yeah.
When,
it did
when
look
we popped
good.
over a couple of weeks ago, and it did look good. And I am being taken to see it next on Sunday, actually.
Very nice.
So I am going to see it in an everyman theatre with a nice big relaxing chair and a huge pint of beer.
Very nice.
He won't make it till takeoff. He'll be fast asleep, feet up, dribble coming down the side of his chin. That's it. That's why he's going. Comfy nap.
I need a nice kit.
I've seen a lot of films at the cinema over the years, and there've only been a few landmark experiences. And I would, much as the story was absolutely pants, and I'm not necessarily looking forward to the follow-up, I would say Avatar was one of them. Seeing Avatar in 3D was one of those experiences. And even for those that don't rate the first film and have no particular love going into Top Gun Maverick, it is a hell of an experience. I was lucky enough to get to see the charity premiere, which was the same time as the royal premiere. We got footage from the red carpet and interviews from the main cast and the director, which ended in Cruise, which was particularly interesting because I guess he's pushing 60 now, and they talked to him about the movie, and he no longer came across as a film star. He came across as a filmmaker, more so possibly even than Joe Kosinski, the director. Cruise talked in considerable depth about how he prepared him and the rest of the cast for the film, how he took everybody out because he flies his, I think he's got a prop plane, which is seen in the movie. And he's a really good pilot in that. So to prepare them for going up in supersonic fighter planes, he took them all out in that. He told them how they have to look towards the camera and how they have to behave towards the camera whilst in flight, because it's a part of the process and it has to work right for editing. And then once they were comfortable with that, they took them out in the proper planes. I have to say, watching the end results, it's a hell of an experience. It's, as you can see from the Zoom background, I mean, they put you in the plane. I saw it in IMAX, and I would make a series of recommendations if you're going to go and watch this movie, which I would recommend everybody does. Firstly, they should probably rewatch Top Gun if they're not familiar with it, Simon. It is a direct continuation, and the director Joe Kosinski has gone to great lengths to make it look and feel like a Tony Scott movie with modern filmmaking capabilities and modern sensibilities. You know, it doesn't completely look like that, but you know, the sunsets are there and the music's there and the
all you need.
Aircraft porn is there. The other thing is its core rests upon events that took place in the first movie, and so it is much like a lot of films we've seen. I would look to things like Ghostbusters, Afterlife, but it's very nostalgic. But they find a way of repeating almost all the same beats, except twinged with a hint of melancholy, because of what happened in the first movie, which still haunts Maverick in this one.
What, losing that beach volleyball game, that second set?
Yeah.
Is it that haunts him?
It is.
So.
Do
you know what? He's
running out of baby oil.
That's it. His regret is, I can't believe I went to Kelly McGillis's house and I didn't have a shower. That's his regret. That's what's haunted him for 30 years.
It was, yes, it was. It's quite impressive how they managed to do everything they did in the first movie again, only with more gravitas. I don't want to spoil anything, but basically almost everything that happens in the first movie happens again, but happens with some melancholy, poignant twinge to it that gives it a heart. Cruise's aces. And if you're forgetting all of that because you didn't come here for the story and the characters and the performances and all the rest of it, I don't think, at least in our lifetimes, we'll get a spectacle like this again. I don't think we had anything since Top Gun. I know there were other sort of knockoffs, and I know we got stealth on the CG front, but no one's had the permission perhaps to get in planes and do this kind of stuff, and maybe no one's had the balls to do it. But having Cruise sit in a plane while it's pulling off some crazy maneuvers, it's quite an experience. And kind of midway through the film, there's the scene which is probably the highlight of the film for me, and you can see the punishment he's taking doing those moves. Even though he's not flying the thing, it looks like he's flying it, and he sure as hell is going through the speed of the turns, and you're right there for the ride, on the clock for the ride. I think that it's spectacular, and I recommend everyone see the first one again so they tie it in nicely, and go and see this on the biggest IMAX screen you can find.
Can't you just sit closer?
Yeah, maybe you could, but really, go see it smack in the center, biggest IMAX you find. You'll be there in the movie. It's really fabulous. I'm trying to double up because I got already booked to see it another 4 times.
Wow.
And I'm trying to get some of the people to go together because I think I can do maybe 3 more, but 4 is maybe pushing it.
Cats Harlow, brought to you by Paramount Pictures.
Tell you what. Anyway, yes, highly recommend it. Absolutely fantastic.
It's
and
interesting.
everything.
I didn't think much of the first film, as I just said before we come on air. Whenever it was I said it, I never really did. It was okay. Too cheesy, too, I don't know, daft, too 80s. But I guess that was the whole point.
Yes, it is. No, it is.
What?
It is.
Yes, it was. It was.
It is all of these things.
I mean, that line, "You can be my wingman anywhere." I mean, my God, that's just unbelievable.
I feel the need for speed.
Yeah, I do have a little bit of respect for it now, though, because I watched, not in preparation for this, but in knowing that I was going to go and see the film, an internet "what the hell happened to this movie" video talking about the making of it. So it's done independently. It's not a Paramount production, done by someone else. And they went through the ringer to get this thing made. It was quite a feat to get it made. And in fact, because I mean, Tony Scott had his ideas of what he wanted to do. Dom Simpson and Brockheimer, they had their ideas of what they wanted to do. The Navy had their ideas of what they wanted them to do, and to mesh those 3 things together to get the film made. Because Cruise was a nobody at that time; he was just coming up. Wasn't he?
It's really interesting. Yeah.
He was just coming off. It was Legend, wasn't it? That was the film you just made prior to that. So he was virtually a nobody.
Yeah.
And he commanded $1 million, and he got it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I digress. But anyway, they got this thing made, and they had to use all of the aerial footage, everything, because there wasn't enough coverage to get a full film.
Yeah.
And they tried to do what they've got this time, which is them in the cockpit showing them going all the G's. They tried to do that 30 years ago, but they couldn't do it. The camera technology wasn't there, and everyone was puking up in the planes, so they couldn't use any of it. So they had green screen stuff. I believe. I can't remember.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was all green screen stuff because they couldn't use real footage. So this time they obviously trained them properly, put them in the suits, got them ready, get out there. We're going to show you.
They look like they are suffering. I'm not kidding. I mean, Cruise looks like he is taking a degree of punishment, but some of the cadets, they're not cadets, they're all Top Gun graduates, but like some of them look like they're in like a Scream movie. I
can believe it.
Suffering in that. You can mostly just see like eyes popping out of skulls. but yeah, and you can visibly see a bit like I think in Moonraker when Roger Moore gets spun around the centrifuge, you can see the skin going back on their faces as they're pulling G's. I mean, it's quite the feat. But anyway, yes, I can imagine the first movie was a hell of an accomplishment. And I put it in the review, but I found it interesting that he was a nobody, Cruise was, and it made him. And yet Top Gun Maverick wouldn't have been made without him. You know, he's come back and he's gone, I want to be in a plane. I want to do this. I mean, I'm very surprised that he didn't persuade someone that he could fly the actual fighter planes. But to be honest, the things that he does in it will wow you. I mean, it's a hell of a feat, and space next maybe, but the guy just doesn't stop. Anyway, Top Gun, you can see the original. It's on Sky. I think it's on Sky. It is on Sky, but you probably want to pick up the disc. I would say you can win it through the podcast competition, or I think it's in HMV's 50% offer at the moment. There'll be a bunch of deals surrounding Top Gun 2 coming out, but I would recommend seeing it because I would recommend picking up the disc because it's 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, looks and sounds fantastic. It's the best way that you could possibly go about revisiting it, and it quite honestly versus the Sky feed, it makes it seem a whole lot less dated, proper filmic, and just a gorgeous watch. So I would recommend hunting down Top Gun 4K before the must-see event of this week. I think the first showings are tomorrow or the day after, maybe. It's officially out Friday, this coming Friday.
Yeah, they'll be out on Thursday, won't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it is weird, isn't it? I mean, we used to saturation of Marvel trailers popping up every now and again. Well, this feels next level. Cruise has been everywhere. It is. It is. I mean, you cannot move for Top Gun smacking you in the face at this moment in time, which is great. I mean, even my mum and dad said, "Oh, have you seen this new film?" And I went, "Yeah, Top Gun. Yeah." I mean, if my mum and dad know about it, then honestly, someone in the marketing department is doing something right. But this really does feel like proper event stuff. It's gonna explode in the box office.
Yes, I mean, my mum and dad want to see it. They're considerably older than me, and at the other end of the spectrum, I'm taking the kids along. So I'm trying to double down and take both their grandparents and my kids. And that's another interesting
Get
thing.
them to take each other, Kaz. You don't have to go.
Oh, no, of course I've got to go and see it again, just to supervise. That's another thing. I got a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. I had to see the film first because obviously it's a 12, but it is, in my mind, very safe for kids. Much more so than the first film because
it was all a bit too erotic, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's some of that, and there's
about erotic as a wet fish. Come off it.
The second film is it's probably well, anyway, it's comfortably okay for them. They're going to find the sequences tense, but I wouldn't want them to miss out on seeing that at the big screen. But yes, it's a good family film, I think, and one hell of an event. But you've been checking out other Tony Scott's masterpieces, haven't you, Mark?
Which one? There's so many.
There's so many. What's the latest one that came to 4K?
Well, so Beverley Hills Cop 2 came out, which is just, it's gloriously messy. It's Eddie Murphy at the height of his ego, writing checks his mouth can't cash, although in this case it could. Well, you've probably seen it, but you've probably not seen it for a while because you've probably still got the god-awful taste of Beverly Hills Cop 3 in your mouth. That's probably the last film you saw. But Beverly Hills Cop 2, very underrated sequel. I mean, the story is, it's all over the shop. It's convoluted. It's ridiculous. I don't think poor old Jurgen Prochnow, or Prochnow, however you pronounce it, I don't even think he understood what his plan was, let alone us by the end of that film. It was just about watching Bridget Nielsen wear a parade of short skirts and try and piss her husband off at the time. But it's you go to watch Murphy and you go to watch Tony Scott, and they are there to the max. Murphy is giving it all with his filthy rat-a-tat that dialogue. It's like, it's Olympic level swearing. It's beautiful. And of course, you've got Tony Scott who managed to crowbar in proper action scenes and then literally going, right, I've done my bit. Camera on Murphy. Right, there you go. Off you go, for the next half an hour while Murphy's doing his thing. But it all worked. It all kind of fit together, bathed in that magic hour glow. And yeah, it's a really, really solid sequel. On a really... I'm torn on the disc, so it's interesting. So Paramount, and we'll come on to talk about Paramount in the disc news, but it's a beautiful transfer, absolutely beautiful. First of all, native 4K, Dolby Vision. It's only lossless 5.1. There's no Atmos remix on it, but it looks amazing. It's organic. The grain is fantastic. The fine detail is off the charts. Obviously, it's the colours you come for. That Tony Scott magic hour sunset in the opening scenes as Ronnie Yates is jogging in that oil field against that burn orange sun. I mean, it looks amazing. It's everything you would have wanted. And the 5.1 track is equally good. But like Escape from LA, not a sausage on it in terms of extras. Nothing. Not even a trailer or anything. And it's odd because Paramount are obviously putting the miles in. They are going through their back catalogue. They are opening the vault. They are polishing it all off. They're doing, you'd argue, they're prioritizing the right thing. They're prioritizing the transfer. But to not put anything out, I mean, in the States, the release of Beverly Hills Cop 2 is labeled a 35th anniversary edition. And there's still nothing on it. I mean, yeah. Jesus, yeah, this thing has had so many releases they couldn't even put the legacy features on from early. It's
They've done the same thing. I'm sure one of their earlier Blu-ray releases of Beverly Hills Cop 2 was also labeled like 20th anniversary or something. I think that's it's just got 4 minutes. I mean, I know it's frustrating, but if I would let the lack of extras put me off picking up a gorgeous looking 4K disc, I mean, it's just annoying that they're insulting us with it and wait for a 2 for 20.
Well, exactly. Exactly. Which maybe then feeds into the news piece about their deal with Kino, which maybe sort of hints at potentially where their heads have been at. Maybe what Paramount have been doing with some of these catalog releases, testing the water.
Yes.
You know, and maybe the water, it ain't so warm.
No, I think if they ship them to Kino, well, we'll talk about that. But if they ship them to Kino, Kino will do it right.
Well, exactly. They'll do the hard yards, and everyone's a winner. Apart from us, who will then have to buy it again.
So, aside from Beverly Hills Cop 2, which is a good release, we have one absolute classic horror masterpiece, and
Candyman.
And Candyman, yes. So, tell us about the masterpiece that is Stephen King's Cat's Eye on 4K.
Well, yeah. So we'll start with the disc first. So it's very much a tale of two cities with this one. It's a brand new 4K restoration. The detail and the grain looks fantastic, but and this is a big but, the restoration is done by a team called Haventi from France, and Studio Canal have used them a lot, and their restorations, shall we say, are proving somewhat problematic. In the case of Cat's Eye, it is a new color grade, which literally looks like it's been dipped in cold tea. There is a yellow tint to pretty much everything. Now, I had the old US Blu-ray for Cat's Eye. I did a couple of comparisons, and it's honestly, it's bizarre. You don't really notice it on the skin tones as such, but shots where there are bright white buildings on the Blu-ray are now a sort of borderline sepia color on this new 4K, and it really undermines the restoration work that's been done. Now, you could argue, oh well, who's to say which version is right? I don't think back in the day that church was that yellow, shall we say. And the other interesting thing about it is, I know that in my reviews I tried to, because I do the majority of my viewing on a projector and therefore HDR10 for critical viewing only, I try and do a Dolby Vision versus HDR10 comparison on my LCD in the lounge, and it's only a not great LCD, but considering it's still same settings on the display, the only difference is the layer on the disc. In Cat's Eyes, in this instance, the typical difference between your Dolby Vision layer and your HDR10 layer, slightly more saturated colors, richer, slightly brighter palette. It really goes against Cat's Eye in this. There's a scene early on where James Woods is walking into the quitter's office, and in HDR10, it's a sort of off-white color. It looks a bit, but one of those bland corporate office colors. You flip to Dolby Vision and it is almost sickly turquoise. It's that bright, and then it's had a similar effect on some of the skin tones as well. So I think in this instance on Cat's Eye, it's going to be a transfer that is going to split the audience. I think hardcore fans who've seen it before on disc are going to hate this new transfer. Those that go, well, I've not seen it since I was 6 on VHS, they're going to buy it and they're going to love it and think it looks amazing. So it's going to be a very, very divisive transfer, I think.
Much like the film, I think, because there's loads of people who seem to remember it being an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah.
Would you concur?
No, well, I've seen it several times since that early childhood viewing, shall we say. And I just think that when you hear about how it came about through this sort of two-pronged approach from Stephen King wanting to get into filmmaking and coming off the back of writing Creepshow. So it was already, do that again, anthology film, do that again, Mr. King, versus Dino De Laurentiis having come off the back of Firestarter with having had a good relationship with Drew Barrymore, who was exploding in the tabloids. And suddenly you've got this anthology film over here with a small child at the heart of it over here, put them together. And, you know, if that's how it came about, that's fine. But everyone who's ever read a Stephen King book of short stories know there are simply better short stories out there that would have made a better film.
Yeah.
It's not to say that they're not fun. Quitters Inc. is quite amusing. James Woods is off his rocker, which is always good fun to watch. The Ledge is a bit dull, but you know, quite frankly, I like Robert Hayes out of Airplane. It's nice to see him in a role. And at least with the final story with Drew Barrymore, you've got that pretty cool little devil imp, which still looks, I can't work out whether it's cute or creepy. So you know, it's fun, but it's no Candyman. I'll tell you that for nothing. So yeah, and it's a very much a case of buyer beware on this disc, I have to say.
It's a weird thing. I mean, I had no recollection of the film. And then I read your review and I thought, I've seen this. And it was rubbish.
Is this when you were rewatching Candyman?
No. I mean, I've only seen that long time ago. It was on VHS after Creepshow. You know, I thought, oh look, much like it got to air. I thought, oh look, yeah, I know that. I'll stick that in. That'll be a good laugh. Strange, isn't it?
I mean, to be fair though, considering you followed it up with Maximum Overdrive, we should be grateful for Cat's Eye, really, shouldn't we?
That was a terrible film.
So you know, yeah, it's fun, but it's very inessential and very unworthy of a full 4K restoration. If I'm going to be brutally honest.
Well, you know, I'm always one to say the more that comes out, the better. I mean, you're absolutely right about that, but you know, they're going to hit some that I'd like on 4K.
True, very true.
That other people might not. I mean, they could do the entire Beat Takashi Kitano back catalogue, and it would only make me happy, but it would make me very happy.
So for Extreme Prejudice, Kaz, in 4K.
Oh, you know what? I would go for that. But you're jumping the gun. We'll come to Extreme Prejudice and Mark's first experience of Extreme Prejudice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
Interesting.
Tell me you like that, Simon.
I do, actually.
Yes.
Again, this was a very, very early VHS film. In fact, it might have been one of the very first films I saw on VHS. Back, my goodness me, long time ago. Back when pirate videos were a thing. Okay, so Dirty Harry.
Let's do it now. 80s, Walter Hill. He's come off the back of working on the script for Sam Peckinpah's The Getaway with Steve McQueen. He's done his own The Getaway, which was the excellent Ryan O'Neal cult classic Driver, which is kind of where we got Drive from.
Yeah.
And he's decided to make this homage to Peckinpah and the Wild Bunch by way of, I don't know, High Noon, starring Nick Nolte and a slew of, very young, you might recognize them now, actors like Clancy Brown and William Forsythe and Michael Ironside.
Michael Bloody Ironside. Come on.
And Powers Booth.
Yes.
And it has Nick Nolte's, very hard-nosed sheriff on the border, dealing with his best friend Cash, great name, who was his best friend but is now a major drug dealer. And they're still close friends, but there's a little love-hate relationship because Cash got the girl and Nolte loves the girl and all that kind of stuff. And in the background, Michael Ironside has landed with a crack team of presumed dead special ops soldiers. I have no idea what transpires that requires basically lots of slow motion shooting and squibs to go off all over the shop as people get shot and blown across the screen, proper Peckinpah style, and have a blast. And Nolte and Powers Booth, go toe to toe. I mean, it
just goes insane at the end.
And Mark hadn't seen it.
It's incredible.
It's crazy.
I know.
It's quintessential. It's your thing.
I know.
I think it's a new Studio Canal Cult Classics.
It's a port of the Vestron, the Vestron range over in the States. They're releasing it, so it's a port of that.
So the Studio Canal have nabbed it. They've launched. I mean, I think the Cult Classics range is a new range.
I think it is.
Their first one is Extreme Prejudice. I'm telling Mark about it. Mark hasn't seen it. Ship him off the disc, and now he's watched it. And suffice to say, you are sold.
Two thumbs up or whatever. Yeah, whatever. No, it says I am halfway through sneak peek for this. I am halfway through June's Blu-ray titles, and I am not going to see a better film than Extreme Prejudice. I am not going to see it. Yeah, I'm just not. Jim Jarmusch, you get stuffed, mate. You keep your black and white moody bollocks over there. No.
So that is the best Blu-ray news.
It is. It is, yes.
Of the podcast, isn't it? That on Mark's top 10 for June, we're going to have Extreme Prejudice at the top. I am proud. Prejudice. And as you say, I would be very chuffed with that on 4K. And I suspect not many people would.
I would now. Yeah. I'd be there.
What other 4K news? Well, we got Cruise's Edge of Tomorrow coming in.
Hang on. Did we miss Candyman?
Oh, we did miss.
Did we miss Candyman?
Sorry. Don't say it too many times.
Come on, size.
Candyman.
Yeah.
Is this your favorite horror?
It's my favorite Clive Barker adaptation.
One of your favorite horrors, then.
Yeah, one of my favorite horrors. My all-time favorite would be Nosferatu, but but Candyman is an awesome film because of what it stands for. It's not your typical stalk and slash horror. Although it's got that element to it. It's creepy. It's romantic. It's hypnotic. It's visceral. And I just think it needs more exposure, and particularly the UK cut, which virtually no one has seen because everyone gets the R-rated version. And this 4K disc has got both on. When you press play, it offers you which one you want to play. Watch the UK version because it's slightly, in my opinion, is slightly better because when Candyman attacks the psychiatrist, it's pretty darn gory. It's much more visceral, and it's really that's
nice.
Very slight drop in picture quality, but you can live with that. Just for the blood and the it's lovely. I love it.
Has this podcast just got an explicit rating for size dirty sex face there? Probably.
Yeah, I just think it's a great film. It's a great set, actually. It's a very, very good disc. The picture quality is fantastic. It's coming off the back of the 2018 restoration, which was a 4K restoration, and they've just slapped Dolby Vision on top of it, and it's really give it an extra boost. So it's a wonderful picture, and Dolby Atmos as well. I mean, it's when Tony Todd speaks, it's like the voice of God. It is unbelievable. It's everywhere, and it permeates you and goes through you, just like his hook. It's going to rip your heart out. It's fantastic. Strange that it's been so polarizing on the thread, though. How people hate it and people don't. It's bizarre. It doesn't seem to have a middle ground.
Well, I think what's interesting is it's people who've come to it after all the hype. So people who didn't see it back in the 90s, people who come into it now, having read that it is this, lyrical, ethereal, gothic romance, with a social and all this kind of stuff. And I suppose it's the problem of expectation, isn't it? So I can see why people coming to it might not feel it is the classic that certainly I agree with Si that it is. But yeah, it's been interesting reading the threads with like you say, there's more people don't like Candyman but love Cat's Eye. It's like what crazy,
crazy world are we in?
This is a crazy world that was too crazy for everything everywhere all at once. Even they didn't show a world that mad.
Just people misremembering stuff. But it is interesting what you say, Mark, about how you big things up. I think that sentiment is something that I think about a film we'll come on to shortly, which is Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's currently getting a lot of good press, saying it's going to be the best film of the year. And I think that runs the risk of alienating people who would have come
absolutely.
in and walked in and gone, wow, this is something pretty special. I didn't expect this. Instead, they're walking in going, I'm waiting for it to get really special. I didn't expect this. So it is interesting, that managing expectations. You know, he says after overselling Top Gun Maverick. There is a question on the thread, which is how much IMAX footage, an hour. There's an hour of IMAX footage in Top Gun Maverick. So, and it's all the plane footage. Go see it, IMAX, really. An hour of that. Phenomenal. Should we do some disc news?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cruiser's Edge of Tomorrow is coming to 4K, which is
Nice.
good timing. Yeah, good timing.
Nice.
I'm going to get the TAT edition. I can't not get the TAT edition. I know it's a ridiculous price, but it's not as Avi exclusive, so I feel a little bit more like I'll justify it. Coming in July, and not the only cruise either. Tropic Thunder.
It's a bizarre one. That.
Well, it isn't a bizarre one, though, is it? It's not a bizarre choice because the reason behind it, Tropic Thunder, is coming to 4K courtesy of Kino because of their new deal with Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
So Kino have a new deal with Paramount. They picked up 64 titles, not all 4K. I think only 15 of them are 4K. But 64 titles in total, ranging from the 40s through to the 2010s. And amongst those, there are 15 4K debuts. No one quite knows what they are. Well, we know one, Tropic Thunder. But they're hoping, the majority of the ones they picked up are, as far as I can tell, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I think the 50s, 60s, and 70s are all double digits, the number of discs that are being released in those eras. And the 80s is like 9, and the 90s is 8, and then it's less and less at either end of that spectrum. I would say people are hoping for Once Upon a Time in the West, Chinatown, Marathon Man, Truman Show, There Will Be Blood, maybe even Face Off. It's that kind of range. No one knows what's coming out, but it is an interesting deal for a number of reasons. We touched upon this before, because Paramount pretty bad at doing anything other than just sticking it on a disc. Disc may look and sound really nice, but you can't stick Beverly Hills Cop 2 on a disc and call it 35th anniversary edition and not have Mark go, where are my extras?
Oh my God, what if Kino's second 4K release is Beverly Hills Cop 3? Oh my God. Shoot me now.
I think they've only got one film to release from that era, and you might have been saved by Tropic Thunder, quite honestly. It'll be the only time in your life you thank Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
But,
I like Tropic Thunder. It just feels a bit like you say, someone's gone there. What should we release first? Chinatown or Tropic Thunder? You know,
the only reason I could possibly see is that they thought none of the other films star Cruise, so we'll just get that out there now. I can't see any reason why Tropic Thunder would be the first to be unleashed. Although I did read a rumor that they were under contract to release Tropic Thunder first, which sounds farcical, but possibly.
Well, don't forget you've got Downey Jr. in there, haven't you? You've got you know, so there's the MCU connection while it's still so hot right now. You know, so
I mean, Kino are undoubtedly on a roll. They've got a following that they did Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on 4K, which I'll say right now, still no UK release. So people are still shipping it from Kino, from the US, and this month they're doing the other Dollars films, Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more. And I don't think we'll get a 4K release in the UK of those. So Kino they're in business. I mean, I am interested in what we get from this, and people are going to be paying they're going to be paying collector's edition set prices to ship a disc from America.
No, because you know what, I think that For a big studio like Paramount to do a deal with Kino, I think they're not just going to limit it to the US. I think we're going to see a similar Paramount deal with one of the UK boutique labels. I think someone like Arrow would be placed well to do a similar deal, I would imagine. So I won't be surprised if, maybe not for Tropic Thunder.
But like Paramount Plus, it'll be like a year later, won't it?
But isn't this interesting? You'd have thought now with Paramount Plus, on the verge of being launched here in its early infancy over in the States, why is it not now doing what Disney would have done, which is say, balls to the physical releases, let's stick it all on the streaming platform and use that to hook people in. So it's an interesting, it's the anti-Disney in terms of the model for getting your films out to market. It makes no sense, really, if you think about it.
Kino are good for their collector sets.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing about Kino is, sure, it doesn't come with all the tats, but it actually comes with extra features.
Yeah.
But these releases we get with all the tat, that's just designed to make you not look at the fact there's nothing on the disc.
True, but they're not immune from the old cock-ups, are they? And let's just say when they do cock up, they don't have as good a track record for fixing it as the likes of Arrow do and things like that. So
I don't know. I had a brand new hard target turn up, complete with packaging. None of this what Arrow do, which is ship me just the disc, and you have to send the old disc back or send a photocopy. There's a brand new sealed hard target sitting here, which they.
And the fact that it's sealed, Kaz, is a crime. It's a crime.
Too much other stuff to watch.
But then again, they never even acknowledged the cock up with Silence of the Lambs, though, did they? So
no.
But anyway, I think it's fantastic news because the more we can get access to those big studios' back catalogs on disc, the better. The better. So it's like don't care who it is, let's get them out. I mean, to be fair, as much as I've been bitching about Paramount, at least getting the likes of Escape from LA and Beverly Hills Cop 2 out on 4K disc with great transfers. I'll have that over not having it, quite frankly.
Yes. Over Cat's Eyes.
Yes. So all good news for disc fans.
Yes. And another disc we're not going to get in this. Well, briefly touching on, we got Untouchables 4K in May as well.
Yep.
We got the Batman, which oddly has started shipping from Italy, but doesn't come out in the UK until mid-June. And I think it comes out in the US a bit earlier as well, but it's hard to get a hold of. So, that's interesting. It's interesting that it's all from Warner, but they've staggered the release for some
reason. They did it with June, didn't they? They did it with June. We all imported the Italian Steelbook month before it was released, didn't it? So, it seems an odd model to do. And why Italy, of all places? Who knows?
Yeah, but they're going to get all the money now, aren't they?
That's true.
There's also a Everything Everywhere All at Once 4K disc rumored to be coming to 4K in July. The reason why I found this interesting is because just like Kino, I doubt there'll be any kind of UK 4K release. You've seen it, haven't you, Mark?
I have.
You did. You reviewed it.
No, because I just pulled that review on my backside. Yeah. I was watching Face Off while I wrote that.
Well, it was interesting because Tom saw it before you, and I think there was an element of expectation or concern that if it didn't get the score that Tom would have wanted it to score, he would never speak to us again.
I know. I think he would have literally turned up on my doorstep with a implement of some kind. Yes,
the bucket from No Man Land. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it as well, and I loved it. I thought it's tremendous. So a little bit of background to this. This is Michelle Yeoh in the multiverse on a budget, but you can't really tell it's on a budget. But it's hugely inventive. It came out around the same time as Doctor Strange, which was curious timing. I don't want to big it up to people because I feel like they're going to go in and expect Doctor Strange. It isn't that kind of film. I mean, it's a very clever, small but big multiverse film.
You're not helping there, Kaz.
Well, it is. I mean, it's small scale with a lot of heart to it, and so it's set in a laundromat. It's Michelle Yeoh, she's struggling with day-to-day existence, family existence, bonding with her daughter, dealing with her cranky dad. It's all fairly normal, and they address the multiverse ideas in it tremendously well, and with a great sense of kind of wild abandon, and it's no holds barred with whatever pinata flavored multiverse you want to leap to. It's not just that they're wearing different clothes and have a moustache. I mean, it's very, very inventive, and I can see why people are lapping it up as potentially one of the best films of the year. But you can't go into it with any expectations, because any of those preconceptions, those whatever you've built up in your mind about what this kind of film should look like, it won't look like that. It's unlike anything you've ever seen before. Scenes from it you might recognize, and some scenes might completely blow your mind, but as a whole, it's madness, utter madness. And if you embrace it, it's a hell of a ride. Just don't go into it going, oh yeah, this is going to be on someone's Oscar list as the best movie of the year. Not that kind of film.
Although I really hope it is.
Oh yeah, I hope it is as well, but it won't be. But that's okay. I mean, it is just mad. It's a crazy ass film. Mark gave it a 9. I think Tom shouted 10 from the back of the cinema very loudly several times. Mine's up there around that score, although it's the kind of film you don't really want to score. It's so bewilderingly out there. I'd just say it's unlike anything you've ever seen or will probably ever see again. But that's on 4K. Maybe if you can't get out to see it in cinema, another import, going to be importing loads. We're running short of time, so we might have to skip really quickly through some streaming and TV show news.
Well, let's do that. Let's do that then, Kaz.
Do that. I did Love, Death and Robots. Do both of you follow Love, Death?
Yes, I've watched a few of them. They're pretty cool.
I do. I love them. I've just watched the first 2 of series 3 tonight. Absolutely love them.
Yeah, episode 2 is tremendous. Of the new one.
It's great fun.
So I happen to. I mean, it's hard to bring them all back into my mind whilst doing this. I happen to think this is a contender for the strongest.
It's better than the second season, without doubt. Much better.
It's a longer season as well, I think, 9 episodes, but it's got some real fantastically dark chapters in it and some good wit. But I think it's a tough call for me between the second and the last episode. The one with the crab.
The crab.
And the one with the siren at the end. I mean, that won't be for.
I've not seen that one yet.
Oh, I don't know. I just love those brilliantly witty 3 robots who take a trip through mankind's destruction with gleeful whimsy. They're brilliant.
Do like it when they go to the survivalist camp. I think the pull-out quote in the review from that is that, isn't it? It's saying, did they really want this apocalypse? And the robot was saying, yes, apparently there were some people who did actually want an apocalypse, who didn't believe in government-sponsored healthcare and believed that they could survive on beef jerky and an endless supply of ammunition. It's
quality, tremendous,
very nice commentary on that one. We also got Kenobi coming this Friday. Very exciting.
Yes.
I think the first 2 episodes.
Nice. We'll watch.
Yes.
I guess I'll watch it.
Yes, you will. It'll be great. It'll be really, really good.
I don't know. I've been burnt by that Boba Fett rubbish.
Don't. It'll bring it all back.
Well,
trust me.
Okay.
All right. Less certain about Marvels, but we'll get on to that. Stranger Things. Is anyone up on Stranger Things?
Yeah, I love Stranger Things. Although I tell you what, I'm going to have to watch a recap for the first 3 seasons.
It's quite simple.
Yeah, they go upside down.
Alien beastie. Yeah, keeps coming at them.
It's
there you go.
Screen goes a bit
you
red.
can put that on the internet, Si. Stranger Things in 30 seconds.
Alien
There's a beastie.
Just keeps coming at it. The upside down. There
upside
you go.
Down.
It's
Red.
the same story three times.
Someone's in trouble. Who knows? Anyway, this is 4.1, half of the latest season.
Yeah, not a fan of that bloody release schedule.
Don't.
What's all that about?
That's a new Netflix thing. Well, it's not even just new to Netflix, but it's a Netflix thing at the moment. Ms. Marvel with the fantastic special effects that look like Shrek. No, Ms. Marvel is the one with the effects that look good.
You're talking about She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah, She-Hulk is the ones that look like Shrek Hulk.
Shrek-Hulk.
Yeah, I'm going
It's
to
a
watch
great
them
meme,
all.
actually. I've seen it.
That's
great.
I'm going to watch them all, but they're really going to have to do some polishing on She-Hulk to not make everything that people talk about.
But they got Tim Roth back, haven't they?
They did get Tim Roth.
So, I mean, he must see. So, I mean, surely he's not that hard up for cash, is he?
I think he saw a pretty big check. I think that's it's possible. Do you think he's got a big role in it, or do you think he's just like one of the clients?
Or something? I can't remember what happened to him. Didn't he? I thought he got squashed.
Well, yeah, but his magical healing abilities will.
And he was in,
he was in Shang-Chi.
He was in Shang-Chi,
allegedly in Shang-Chi. I still don't know if that was.
Yeah,
that was him or not.
Yeah, it was cage fighting in Shang-Chi because Wong comes to get him and takes him back. Yeah,
blotted that out of my mind.
Returning to Top Gun 2, Joe Kosinski's latest, Spiderhead, which had a whole bunch of different titles. I'm sure it was called Escape from Spiderhead at one stage and something else. Whatever it is, all of them are better titles than Spiderhead. That's coming to Netflix with Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller, again from Top Gun.
Nice. Oh, hopefully he's kept his tash.
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not a Tashgate scenario. It'd be interesting to see how good that is. I mean, obviously, it's been a couple of years since they did Maverick, so Kosinski's got another one in the can. It'd be interesting to see what that's like on Netflix. And good timing. Good timing for the director. We also got coming to Netflix. I mean, thanks to Andy's great lists, we can look at Sandler's latest, which thankfully isn't a puerile comedy and is actually Hustle, a drama, basketball drama, I think. I'm up for that. And Umbrella Academy Season 3.
They're good fun normally.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, quite like them.
And Interceptor, which caught my fancy. It's it's Elsa from Chris Hemsworth's Elsa, his wife. She was
from Frozen.
She was in the Fast and Furious films, and I mean, I had never heard of it before, but I did hear that she underwent some serious training in firearms and in martial arts to do it. So it could be a lot of fun. So yes. Mark has been quickly looking at Prehistoric Planet on Apple TV, and I'm remiss in not having showed that to the kids.
So they're dropping an episode a night this week. So five episodes. The first one came out today. It's about sea beasties, but it's just you know exactly what it is. It's walking with dinosaurs, but with just some stunning special effects. The technology now, the effects work it's just sublime on it. It really is. And it's just the usual things. Oh, look, cute dinosaur. Oh no, it's dead. Oh look, there's another cute dinosaur. Oh no, that's dead. Oh no, there's a cute old oh no, that's dead. So as long as you're a fan of the whole circle of life shenanigans, it's very, very good eye candy.
I think I'm gonna have to take the kids through that once I've finished showing them all things Top Gun. Simon and I have been watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds, yes, episode 2.
Episode 2. I'm only maybe 3/4 of the way into it.
You've seen it all then.
I'm quite enjoying it still.
Oh,
it's gone off the rails for you, has it?
Well, not yet. I mean, not yet. It's just this. I like. The idea is good. Okay, they've gone back to sort of the next generation idea of taking a character and giving them something to do. And in this instance, it's Uhura, which is quite good, giving her a little bit of backstory, making who she is, where she comes from, what she's doing, giving her a little bit of an arc within that story. Getting lost, finding herself, wanting to go carry on. That's all good stuff. But the larger aspect of it, the Prime Directive stuff. Seriously, guys, you're making Star Trek. Go and watch Star Trek. You must know what the Prime Directive is. Seriously, just because a thing is going to hit another thing, that is not Prime Directive stuff. That's going to happen. You just don't get involved.
I think the only way to watch it is with a Picard chaser.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I quite liked it. I mean, I still love Pike. I mean,
he is good. And actually, when he was dealing with the threat, I thought he was very good.
He was
There was none of this fire first, ask questions later. It was more diplomacy.
And he has a nice kind of dry wit about him when the torpedoes kind of bounce off. He's like, not supposed to have shields. I've got time to spend with him as a captain. I mean,
there is a lot good about it. I'm not dissing it too much. I'm
just a little bit.
But turn the lights down a bit in the bridge as well, will you? For Christ's sake! Seriously,
you wait until we get it in.
In the original series, you had a little bulb go red. This thing, the whole bloody bridge goes red. I mean, come on.
Yes.
And I was going to say, of all the things, Si, I know, the brightness of the bulbs on the bridge.
I know.
Really.
Yeah. But it's everywhere, It's like they've gone, oh, look, let's just paint it all red. It's red alert. Let's paint everything red. It's too much of the J.J. Abrams, with the lights beaming at your face. How can they see anything to do anything when it's all red?
Shall we give someone a competition?
I think
go on then.
Okay. So to round us off, we have the podcast competition to win a copy of Top Gun on 4K. And the question which you need to use to select the correct answer: what is Tom Cruise's character's name in Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick? All right, there you go. It's really, really hard, guys. That's it for the AV Performance podcast this week. Thanks to both the hardware and the movies team. If you enjoyed the podcast, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel, plus hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when we publish our live streams, product reviews, and more. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, bookmark avforums.com for the latest reviews, news, and videos. Plus, why not give us a 5-star rating on whichever service you use, if they allow it, but only if you enjoyed the show. I'm Kaz Harlow. Thank you for watching and listening, and join us for the next podcast on the 13th of June.
Toodle pip, yo's.
Bye-bye.